sparring breakdown. Appreciate all the continued support. Today we're going against Danny, a much bigger opponent, standing around 6'3", over 220 pounds. Always good work when I get with him. Here we start off with the body. With bigger guys, you want to start at the body and you want to start low because usually it's harder to attack the head since it's so much distance that your hand has to travel to reach his head. So, nice body kick by Danny. For a bigger guy, guys, I will tell you he is very agile. I did not expect him to be able to throw kicks and move the way he does for someone with the amount of experience and size he has. This jab, guys, what's happening with this jab, and the reason I emphasize this is because I thought I was out of jab range, but I didn't take into consideration that he's so much longer and taller than me that his jab range is not the same as my jab range. So I got to recognize that and keep my high guard a little bit tighter. But here we are, just circling around each other, getting some extra work in. Again, I'm really trying to target that body, guys. You always want to be targeting something and working the technique. So I actually saw that his high guard was still high, right? He kept his guard pretty high, so that body was still there. So I kept slipping some punches and some kicks there. And the goal is to eventually have him to drop those hands so I can actually go for more head punches or head kicks or whatever the case is. Beautiful tag by Danny here. He saw that I was going for a body kick. He kept his eyes open and hit me with a nice left. And as you guys can see, the body work actually started to work because he started to cover more of his body than his head. And I was actually able to land a cross hook on him. This sparring session, guys, I was also trying to work kicks after my combinations or ending combinations with my kicks. Here's some slick head movement by Danny. Although you cannot do this often, I will say it's okay to mix it in there. The only problem with head movement like that on a consistent basis in Muay Thai is that it's easy to get caught with a knee or a kick. So just be careful when you see it, but overall, slick head movement by Danny. Here we are, just getting some extra work in. Another lead jab. This happened multiple times, and watching this back, I can see that I just need to pretty much be more aware and keep that high guard a little tight and not get as comfortable. The lead kick, guys, as always, is such a solid tool. If you guys don't know what to do or you're in a idle position, guys, throw out the lead, that teep kick. It's the safest kick in Muay Thai. Some good work by Danny, finishing a lot of his combinations with kicks. Here, guys, I saw that he kept checking and keeping that lead leg raised up, so I decided to step in and hit him with an opposite side knee. If you guys ever see that, what ends up happening is a lot of people will keep that lead leg up high, and it actually exposes the other side of their body. So take a step in and try to go for the opposite side. But here we are, good work. Nice head movement from Danny, just, trying to stay in the pocket. Solid body kick. The only thing with body kicks like that, guys, is you have to be careful. If you always kick towards the elbow or kick a little bit below the elbow, it's easier to get injured. It's better to kick actually towards the wrist. That's what the coach teaches us. So at this point, I had thrown multiple roundhouses, and Danny was pretty much keeping his front leg light to check him. So I decided to go for a fake here and actually go for a little switch kick. And this is just more adapting as you sparring. I think it's always good to spar the same opponent in a sparring session, at least 2 to 3 rounds, because you can start to get real reads like this. On to round 2. And also, guys, just a quick side note. If you guys notice, although we're having a lot of intensity and we're sparring, at the same time, we're not too tight, we're not trying to kill each other, and we're letting each other just work, and that's what you want when you're sparring. And if you guys have been enjoying the video so far, make sure you guys drop a like, comment, and subscribe. Appreciate all the continued support. Back into it. Here we are, right, still getting some more work in. Danny keeps a nice front leg because I am actually very kick heavy, and I've sparred him multiple times. And I actually like it because it makes me have to change up my game. That's why I always like to throw in some fakes or throw a punching combination behind the kick and so on and so forth. Here we are, just getting some more work in. Danny does a good job of actually throwing the 1-2 and the kick. And this one, I didn't check the kick high enough and actually extended my knee outward. If you guys saw that weird angle, it actually messed me up for a couple days on that one, believe it or not. But that's just how it is, right? Whenever you're sparring another human being, stuff like that always happens, and you just kind of weather through. Here we are getting more work in. I'm still trying to attack that body to keep his hands low, and I start to notice that his hands are getting a little bit lower every time I touch that body. Here, I decided to actually throw a kick, but I decided to hide it with a cross, and it landed clean. Danny just did a good job of standing his ground, throwing his own 1-2 combination with a roundhouse, and he actually pulled his foot out fast enough that I couldn't even go ahead and grab it. So good work from Danny, and just a good interaction in general. But here we are, right, getting more working. Always good work, right? We're smiling, guys. This is how you want sparring to be. You don't want it to be something that you hate and something that you don't enjoy. Another good combination, 1-2, switch kick to the front by Danny. I went ahead and replied with a body kick. Hey guys, whenever you're throwing a high kick, the best place to throw it is towards the wrists. If you go towards his elbow or a little bit below his elbow, unless the body is completely open, you have a high chance of actually kicking an elbow and ending your career right there, or ending your fight right there in a loss. So if you're going to kick for the body, guys, or the wrist, I always decide the wrist instead, guys. It's actually harder to block. Danny working his head movement. I started to see that he started to use his head movement a lot more. So what I started to do was try to fake a jab or fake a boxing combination and actually just go for an easy leg kick. A lot of times people get caught up with the head movement, but when somebody's head moves a lot of times their legs are still stagnant. Just like last time, he threw that leg kick and I actually was able to bring my knee high enough to check it. At this point, guys, right, we started getting some more work in. Every single time I threw a punch or a feint, he reacted. So this is when I started throwing some other type of techniques. I started to notice that Danny would finish most of his combinations with kicks. So I decided to leave that front leg more light. And throughout the whole sparring session, guys, I kept attacking his body and legs so that eventually I can go ahead and try to land this switch head kick that actually landed. And if you guys notice, I pulled back on it towards the end because although I know it landed, there's no point of going full force with a head kick, especially in sparring. I just wanted to see if the technique was there and it was clean and just made a little bit of contact. But always such a good support from Danny. If you guys enjoy the content, make sure you guys like, comment, subscribe. I appreciate you guys, and I'll see you in the next video.